However, nothing I tried was tasty enough, or more importantly, cheap enough for me to try at home. Until I visited Toscana's. Toscana's had this one dish that just blew me out of the waters. It was an eggs Benedict. Simple dish, poached egg, hollandaise sauce, salmon, some other stuff. But when I went home, I immediately started making it in the kitchen. That was the first time I ever even handled a knife. However, my skills in this kitchen have never really evolved past that, until I started watching some TV shows. Gordon Ramsay dominated my recommended list on YouTube. There's something about him violently encouraging people that's just so satisfying. More importantly, inspired the SCICAN project. So, what was so hard about cooking? That's what always bothered my mind. He would scream at people. He would call them names. He would demean them into little babies. But why? Was it really that hard? So that's got me thinking. What would happen if I just mixed a ton of stuff together? Is there some type of method to the madness, or is it simple trial and error? Or is it the way you cooked? Was it via barbecuing, pan frying, or boiling? Or was it the flavors you added? How do you turn something from this, add a little whatever, and make it to this? So, taste can be broken down into 5 flavors. You can take sweetness, sourness, saltiness, bitterness, and savory, or umami, because that sounds cooler. So, the process of thing is how can I arrange those 5 different flavors to solve the puzzle that is tastiness? So here's my process. Now, the way I organized my experiment was a little bit like this. I took 2 base items, and I cooked them 3 different ways with 5 different variations and amount of seasoning. I would then have 5 different subjects taste them, and rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being the worst thing they've ever experienced, and 10 being the best. So, I took 2 base flavors. You got bitterness and savory, because I had no easy way of combining those 2, specifically. And then from there, I took the 3 other flavors, and altered the amount I put for each one. So, the first version I had was just a bunch of this, all these same amounts, equally. Next version, I put a ton of everything. Third version was more concentrated on saltiness. It was more concentrated on sourness. 4th, saltiness, and 5, sweetness. So here's the results of my experiments. Well, it turns out that for kale, adding sweetness is able to counteract the effects, while sourness did not help at all. In fact, it made it worse. There's that. And for savory, you got sourness and sweetness were the main things. See, sourness is actually benefits it. Do you know why? Well, it's actually chemistry. Because the proteins can actually be broken down into a process called denaturation. But that still doesn't really answer my question. That gives me 2 examples. So what really is the ideal combination? Well, I have no idea. And that's why we have chefs constantly trying millions of different combinations. And that's why they get paid so much, like Gordon Ramsay. And that's why so basically, what did we learn? Well, we learned that it's actually really hard. It requires a lot of brain power. Second thing we learned is it's kind of like a 2,000-piece puzzle where the pieces look exactly the same. You have a nice base to start off with. You can use your chemistry. But then from there, it's all trial and error until you finally complete the picture. Thank you.